Welcome back to Extra Shot, the Upshot's weekly rundown of the wildest stories in sport. On the pod today, Cole Palmer's post-match pickup.
Maybe he's just obsessively mulling over whether a ton of bricks or a ton of feathers is more heavy.
Chris Eubank is getting fruity again. You know Sandstorm by Darude. And the NFL star ripping the bong during the draft.
The key was high for a while.
My name's Jack. Zach is here.
Hello, Jack.
Hello. Hi, JP.
Hello, Jack. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks. And I'm pleased to report this podcast is now sponsored by DAZN, Visit Saudi, and the Club World Cup, where we will be bringing live coverage of Al Hilal versus Urawa Reds, live from Seattle. Join us.
Yeah.
Yeah. That Club World Cup thing, I'd written it off, but I've been reading up on it, and it promises to be one of the biggest summers for sport ever.
Had a change of heart, did you?
Yeah.
I think that one of the best places to watch it, if you are not going to the stadiums, which obviously will have incredible atmospheres, but if you're not able to make it there, then Riyadh is, it's one of the most buzzing cities on the planet at the moment.
It's a hot pot.
There's, it's got excellent food, excellent shopping opportunities. That's mainly it. But
wow.
But yeah, it's I would really recommend it.
This is such a turn of events, guys.
Yeah.
Feels like you guys have really seen the light.
I don't know. We've always been deep down fans of Saudi Arabia. And DAZN in particular, because their broadcasting is unrivaled.
Yeah. I'd just like to withdraw any comments I made last week to the contrary.
Me too.
So yeah, JP, I've caught you up on this, haven't I? That
yes.
We've had our legal threat from FIFA.
I had an image in my head of me being outside court with you two coming out and sort of me being like a damsel in distress on the steps while you two are cheering and.
Why are you a damsel in distress?
I don't know. I'm just like
fainting.
Yeah.
I like that rather than you crying in the gallery.
Where are my boys going?
While we get led down to the cells.
The chain gang with each other.
I'll visit you in prison.
I did see quite a good comment on Patreon. Someone saying, "Guys, you can't go down. JP wouldn't last 2 minutes in prison."
I'd want to be in there with you.
Yeah, they'll pass him around like currency. So yeah, sorry for people who didn't listen to last week. I recommend listening to last week's episode where we revealed that FIFA are threatening to sue us over our comments that they're bent. It's been I had a long week doing Infantino's bins, sort of looking for any more dirt, desperately hoping that it would escalate. I actually did on Friday. I was just sort of, clocking off for the day, got an email and it was from FIFA. Briefly shat myself, but
what was it?
It was like, you get tickets to see Mamelodi Sundowns versus Al Wayad in Philadelphia.
$450.
We even talked about the ticket prices. I think maybe we have.
Yeah.
They're fucking expensive.
Yeah. I've seen he's on quite a big PR hunt at the minute trying to get tickets sold for the World Cup.
Giani Infantino.
Yeah, he was on Fox News the other day saying that the Club World Cup was going to be 100 times bigger than the Super Bowl in America.
I mean, his comments like that.
Yeah.
Just like...
It's just not true.
Yeah. Does he mean literally the attendances? The Super Bowl's one match.
I think his calculation is basically because there's going to be so many... Well, he thinks that there's going to be so many people watching from different countries. The overall viewing figures will be
And he'll be counting
times.
like TikTok impressions and shit like that. It's just like the barefaced lying of it all is the most obnoxious thing.
Yeah.
It's quite North Korea, some of it.
He's really scraping the barrel, isn't he?
Yeah. Anyway, thanks to everyone. We did have a lot of support from everyone, from fans in the comments swinging behind us. So thanks for that. Had a genuinely lovely message on Reddit from Baron von Marlon, who he said, "All the best to the boys during this FIFA shit. I know they're putting a brave face on it and trying to laugh it off, but you can tell they're rattled. It's horrible when things like this happen. Hangs over you. Can feel like a very lonely experience. Stay strong, boys."
Feels like he's been through some shit, that guy.
Yeah. I mean, it's a really nice message, but I'm not fucking rattled.
Yeah.
I'm not rattled either.
You're fucking rattled, mate. If anyone's rattled, Baron von Marlon. In fact, Marlon, I think you'll find you were rattled on the 5th of January 2025 when you complained about Brighton not giving Tarek Lamptey a new contract.
Have you done some
on,
research?
on the Seagull subreddit. I'm just saying, if anyone's rattled, it's Marlon.
I think you need to-
I'm not fucking rattled.
I think you need to get out a bit more, mate.
Yeah.
Went quite far back in the lovely Marlon's Reddit post, trying to find one where he was rattled.
On Friday evening, while you're trying to spend some quality time with your family, you're actually deep into Reddit.
Yeah.
Is Marlon a real baron? Did you find that out?
What is he, like a Bentner style?
Yeah.
Lord Bentner. Don't know. He's certainly a very kind person, but yeah, thanks for the support. I genuinely do want the case to escalate, but clearly it came across that we are shitting our
It's all gone
pants.
quiet, isn't it?
Yeah, annoyingly, I think they've wisely been like, let's just leave these freaks.
Yeah,
to
either
their
that
weird
or they're
podcast.
currently plotting their big,
Their legal.
their big reveal of the legal documents.
Fingers
right?
crossed. I like the idea that they also like tried to do some research on us and they searched for the Upshot on Reddit and landed. You know how our Reddit is called the Upshot Podcast, I think, and then the Reddit that's called the Upshot is some like really niche pervy community. It's like a specific angle of a vagina that these pervs are into, isn't it? It's fucking weird.
It's a weird subcategory.
It's actually a much
for-
bigger one than our community, obviously. That goes without saying. But yeah, I like the idea that FIFA lawyers looked at that and were like, right, this is the guys we're dealing with.
Mm.
I love how punchy you are on it.
What, as in,
Bring
bring
it
it
on,
on,
baby.
baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Marlon disagrees. He says I sound rattled.
I'm
And
not.
actually, I listened to it back and I was like, I do kind of sound quite scared.
I mean, when you first
Yeah.
told me, I was scared.
Yeah, but you're a little bitch.
Yeah.
Also, we know what would happen to you in prison.
We're sending you down.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I thought we came across as not rattled.
Mm.
That was the.
I don't get
What
me
we're
wrong.
going
If it
for.
got really big on us, then yeah, it would be
Be
quite
rattled.
scary, but fun as well. It can be both.
I mean, it's
Mm,
FIFA,
Like a
in
roller
it.
coaster. Yeah.
How long of a time in jail would you take just for the sort of
For publicity.
for the bands?
Yeah,
Yeah,
for the
for
bands.
the publicity.
An hour?
Would it grow the podcast?
A week?
Yeah, a week.
Could you do a week?
Do a week
I
for-
reckon you would be crying like a little baby after about a week.
Yeah. Are we talking like police jail, which I have done
Well-
in the slammer, or are we talking prison?
Prison.
Prison.
Right.
Proper
Yeah,
prison.
no. I'm scared
Would
to
you not-
visit prison.
Yeah. Would you not do like 2 days for
Well,
the story?
Yeah, you could.
for the story and for the fact that we could then.
Can
say
I
that
just
we
stay in my
took
cell,
down
or do I have
FIFA?
to like go out in
Your
the
cell is
exercise
a
yard?
it's a shared cell.
I
So you
reckon-
could either get someone quite nice,
I reckon
sort
they
of
would
take
be.
take you
Could
under
do.
their wing, or they will viciously beat you up in your sleep.
Yeah, you want a fraudster, probably, don't you? A white collar, a fellow white collar criminal.
I can imagine like you going one of two ways. Like you can be in you being like absolutely used and abused, or like you teaching all the inmates English.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
because yeah, it sort of becomes a bit sort of like Robin Williams in the Last Dead Poets Society, where they're all standing on their desks like, this guy's so inspiring. That's how I daydream about it. Yeah.
You come out the gates and we're all there to pick you up, and you've got like a teardrop tattooed underneath your eye.
I bet you I ride with the Crips now. Jack, you're in an open prison in Guildford. Yeah, I don't know. Who do you think would last best?
I reckon I'm sweet.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
I don't know. First trip to the shower though. I reckon you'd
Yeah, I think you're.
you'd be rattled by that.
Yeah, I would. But
I don't think I'd last very long.
yeah.
No, I'm scared at the thought of it. I am rattled. Also, we had a message from Material Bus, who who pointed out that there is a dedicated section about FIFA in the Organised Crime Museum somewhere in America. So I would class that as bent. Also, with Infantino, so I actually didn't realise, you know, I was saying like it's all quite North Korea, the whole like we have to pretend that this thing is bigger than it is. But he's well on his way with the North Korea bullshit. So he's already, so FIFA presidents are only allowed to serve 3 terms, 3 4-year terms, and then it's like you got to move on. So we don't have a dictator scenario. But he's already saying that his first one doesn't count because it was only 3 years. So he's already trying to pull the like
So
Putin.
The full term is void because it was less than 4 years.
Yeah, because it was a
so
year
now
less.
You just
So you can do a total of 12 years.
Yeah,
I just think that is ridiculous.
well, it's already too long.
Yeah, you should
Yeah.
it should be changed every 4 years, in my
Mm.
opinion.
Yeah, maybe 2. I don't know. The last election, to be fair, he ran unopposed. So that there was no vote. There was just a standing ovation.
So there wasn't one single person.
No
that
one wanted
take
to run
it.
against him. No, I think that's quite common in FIFA, isn't it? There's a lot, which Yeah. But someone's got to do it. Anyway, quite North Korea style thing where everyone just clapped for him. And then he pulled the same trick for the Saudi bid when they got announced as World Cup hosts. Because no one ran against them in the end, for reasons we've gone into. They held what's called an acclamation ceremony instead of a vote. So Infantino stood in front of a screen and all the delegates had to tune in via Zoom and clap. I think I've got a picture of it down here.
Holding up a sign. Clap now.
And then he got really annoyed with them because they're all clapping, but he was like, you need to clap with your hands by your head so everyone can see them. And then he said, there are scrutinies watching, which I think he meant the media, but it kind of sounded like he was saying that people were checking how much you're clapping.
Is it not kind of convenient for him, though, if some people don't show their hands? Because he can then, if people are like, oh, it's only 25% of them were clapping, he can be like, no, they were just they were doing it off screen. They were, trust me.
I was trying to find the English FA among them because it's pretty humiliating. I mean, to sit there clapping like a seal. It's like you're at one of those Kim Jong-un rallies.
Yeah. He's definitely got like a bit of the air of like the baddies from Thunderbirds or like Adam
does
Newman
look quite
from-
Thunderbirds.
Yeah, or like Adam Newman from WeWork. He just kind of like, without the hair, obviously.
Yeah, I do see that actually. Yeah,
Typical baddie.
yeah, he's a good baddie. He told the media after that Saudi ceremony, "I don't understand why some of you are so mean. I don't get it." But we'll be with him in Seattle for the big game.
Yeah.
Oxford City, Mamelodi.
Days and hats on.
If anything happens with the legal thing, we'll keep you
We'll let you
abreast.
know.
But otherwise, that's probably last on FIFA for a little while.
Yeah, hopefully.
Take me back to the warm bosom of the non-corrupt Premier League.
Take you back to the Premier League. So JP, you're a Chelsea fan,
Through
of
and
course.
through.
And you'll be familiar with the fact that Cole Palmer's form has been a little bit off for a few months now. He hasn't scored in 16 games.
Thank you for reminding me.
I just thought you'd
Has he
like
been
that.
bad, or is he just not scoring?
I think it's a confidence thing, but there's all this stuff coming out now that he's like one season wonder and he's not actually that good. I think that's bollocks. Like he is still a class act, but he just hasn't hit the back of the net.
Yeah, I mean, you could say perhaps there were other things on his mind. Chippy chips. Maybe he's angling for a big move to Real Madrid. Maybe he's just obsessively mulling over whether a ton of bricks or a ton of feathers is more heavy. Or it turns out there might have been something else on Cole's mind. The release of the new Prada America's Cup sneakers. So Cole was spotted sprinting out of Stamford Bridge on Saturday after Chelsea's win over Everton. Just like literally just running down the concourse. We've got a clip of it here. He's being mobbed by fans.
He's on the blower as well.
Quite surprised to see him.
This is straight after the game,
Yeah.
and he's on the phone.
Bro, what the hell?
Cold.
He's just sprinting out the main entrance to the stadium.
Yeah, it's very strange. So obviously everyone's speculating about where he might be going. Like, who's he on the phone to? It turns out he was running to a nearby petrol station to meet a guy to buy some trainers
Out of his car.
out of his car. So he's there sat in like a BP forecourt opening up a box of Prada trainers. Apparently the guy had flown in from Dubai to deliver them.
Just to give him the shoes.
To give him the shoes, yeah.
I mean, he's a bit of an idiot for all of this because all of these like resellers and trainer guys, they go absolutely ham on TikTok and Instagram when they do like the delivery and the Passover. It's like, oh my God, Cole Palmer's coming to get his Pradas.
Yeah. But that's
Of course, it's going to be like on the gram right
maybe
away.
he wants that. I don't know.
Yeah, but
Because surely
surely
the flight from Dubai is costing more than the shoe. What are the shoes worth?
So they're $690 on the Prada website,
Right.
but they're sold out in many sizes, probably including Cole's. Otherwise he'd have
Cole's
just
cold
ordered them the
ones.
normal way.
Also, why does the guy come all the way from Dubai and then stops at BP Fulham Broadway instead of just coming in? Surely he's allowed into Stamford Bridge, isn't he?
Yeah, I don't know.
Makes it look like a
Yeah.
drug pickup.
I mean,
I
it's
have
like,
seen people pick up drugs there.
I mean, maybe he's. I mean, the Pradas that he's after are actually a really naughty pair of Pradas.
They
I
are
love it.
they are
They
quite
were
nice.
They're a re-release of
They're
the
fucking
2000s.
shoes.
Yeah.
Mate, they're naughty.
I mean, yeah.
Would you spend that kind of money?
It's like a mad thing though in the football world, isn't it?
Mm.
Like this trainer resale obsession. Like I saw a video online of Cole Palmer like gifting Tosin, our centre back, a pair for like playing well on Saturday.
Yeah, he got man of the match in like a 5-0 win over Kettering in the FA Cup or something. And he got him like a
limited edition pair of
And it's
Nikes.
brand
pair of
made up.
trainers.
Oh,
Yeah.
they love it.
Yeah, I don't know, it's pretty massive industry. It's all these like 18-year-old TikTokers who've just nailed down this niche of
Yeah.
selling shoes.
It's
to
like the
footballers.
people who queue up for shops are the fans of that shit.
Yeah.
I find it
Yeah.
really tragic.
Yeah. To be fair, Cole's shoes, they're actually quite nice.
Yeah.
Why you said that?
I wouldn't pay America's Cup. That's just the name of the.
They're,
That's the sailing thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I thought
I don't
so.
know. I'm not
They,
sure.
well,
why they're called
they
that.
came out in like the early 2000s and they sold out right away and they discontinued them. I know a little bit about this guy, so just hear me out. And they're
Are you
like,
meeting the guy after this episode?
yeah, I am the guy selling them to Cole. And they've just re-released them in like some different colorways, and that's why Cole was all over it.
Is it like
Olive,
sailing
olive
shoes?
green.
They are sailing shoes, yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
When is sailing cool now?
Yeah, sailing's cool.
Surely not.
We're that far away.
It
We're that
can't be.
far out of it, yeah.
Can't be. My dad will be buzzing. His deck shoes cool. His Musto jacket.
Your dad's in line for the next drop at Prada.
He'll be queuing up.
Do you remember the pair that Calvin Phillips was seen wearing
Yeah.
a couple of years ago? We're looking at a picture of them now. People were describing them as Cornish pasty shoes. They're like basically like oversized, sort of. They've got like
Sausage
heels
rolls?
as well. They look like they're made of pastry.
It's basically a sack with a thick
yeah.
sole.
He looks
With
quite
a
like
kitten heel.
yeah. His whole outfit is just very oversized.
They
It sort of looks like he's been shrunk,
yeah.
including the shoes.
He looks like he's been getting some fashion tips from Tom Davies and Dominic Calvert-Lewin,
Yeah.
doesn't he? He's got that
Yeah.
vibe
We
going
talked
on.
about them
From
recently.
a medieval
their
peasant.
New York Fashion Week.
Yeah, they've just
shit.
like gone so far into like high-end fashion that they think they're just some sort of like godlike fashionistas.
It's bad.
Yeah.
The pics are really funny.
The one of Tom Davis wearing like purple pointy shoes
And the
Looks
dressing
like,
gown.
looks like Willy Wonka.
Did we not talk about this recently?
We might have done.
I think we did, yeah.
I
We're
mean,
looking at them
yeah.
now. It's like a dressing gown.
I'm actually a big Tom Davies fan.
Yeah,
but
he's good bloke, but that's a terrible
it's
get
just
up.
like, what the hell are you doing?
Eccentric chocolatier. The Calvin Phillips shoes, I've never, ever before or since seen a pair of shoes like that. And they don't look very
Yeah.
practical.
No, they look
all
like you
good.
trip over, yeah.
They remind me of the you might be able to get them up, the big red fashion shoes that all the footballers are wearing at the minute, and they're literally like a big red blow up welly.
Oh, I think I've seen them, yeah.
You
I
know,
haven't
it
seen
runs-
those. Normally it's Lewis Hamilton I look to for this sort of stuff.
Mm.
these.
Oh, those
what
ones,
the
yeah.
fuck?
They look
More
like,
like Wallace and Gromit.
yeah.
Feet. What the fuck are they? Oh my god, those are
What?
are they
They are.
real? They look drawn on.
Yeah, it looks like the penguin from...
Yeah, the feet of a Wallace and Gromit
Wallace and
character.
Gromit.
God.
This is the world we live in, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Calvin Phillips just looked like he's just found some shit on the ground and had to tie it around his feet. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't have any shoes.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of unsavoury shoes, I've got a story for you from the York Football League. So there was a match there over the Easter weekend between Old Malton and Malt Shovel, which is presumably some kind of derby.
Sounds very
The
York.
Malt-
Hated
the Malt-
rivals.
Malt derby. Malt Farm, maybe. But this match was called off when the referee went into his dressing room at half time and discovered that somebody had shat on his trainers. We're actually looking at
Oh,
a
yeah.
picture of the offending trainer now.
They sort of
it's-
missed
Have
it.
they
It's-
shat in it and then wiped their arse with the
I
heel?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Don't exactly know.
Or they've
but
sort of squatted over it and just missed a bit.
yeah,
They've landed some.
yeah.
But
So
is that
hang
a
on.
little bit of shit on the wood as well?
Yeah,
there.
yeah, I
Oh
think
god,
so,
that's
yeah.
disgusting.
So is that half time?
It was so he came. So apparently he'd given a controversial penalty in the first half, and then came in at half time, and someone shat his
Oh,
shoes.
so someone's done it during the first half while he's still on the pitch.
Yeah, so
a fan.
a fan or
Coach.
maybe one of the
Or
substitutes.
substitutes.
Yeah.
The gaffer's given the nod to one of the subs saying,
Coach,
Go,
yeah.
go,
It's your time to shine.
"You ain't coming on." but go on."
Yeah.
Training ground move that.
Yeah. Everyone has their role to play in the squad.
Is it definitely human shit?
I guess it could be dog shit. I think
Dog smells worse, but I'd still rather it was dog shit.
dog shit is it's sort of less twisted.
Well, we've all had dog shit on our shoes before.
Yeah,
whereas
not inside, but
no.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Although
anyway,
I once stepped on dog shit in a pair of flip flops and it sort of came over the side and just
That's
you know
awful.
in on the top.
Oof.
Between the
In
toes.
between your toes.
Yeah, it was nasty.
The webs, the
have
webs
they
of
caught
your
the
toes.
culprit? What did he do to earn this treatment?
He gave a controversial penalty.
Oh, well then.
Apparently, if that's
It's
Calm.
fair enough.
Calm.
that makes sense. But yeah, he ended up calling the match off. citing fears for his own safety.
I sort of see where he's coming from.
Yeah.
And then he's got to go home in his boots.
Just walking
shuffling
down
in
the
the
streets,
stands.
really depressed.
That's good because we talk about how the golden age of shitting in boots as a prank died a death sort of around the time Arsene Wenger banned the Mars bars. But
Maybe there's a resurgence in lower league football.
yeah, I
that's
think
gonna be-
people are sort of being turned off by the glitz and glamour of the Premier League, and they want a more authentic.
You want
football.
raw football
Yeah.
shit.
And this is where
This is where
Yeah,
you get it.
this is more sort of, rather than pranks though, this is more sort of a comeuppance, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess has
A
a
bit more vindictive.
menacing undertone.
Yeah.
Hence why I called the match. That's really funny that you abandoned the match. Abandoned brackets. Shit in shoes.
Well, until they get VAR sorted in York, maybe everyone's just gonna have to get shit in their shoes until it's sorted.
Yeah.
Oh, and then maybe they'll learn. That's probably a crime, isn't it?
I guess it is. Yeah.
Have you been following any of the Sycamore Gap trial? You know, the guys who cut down that tree, that
No.
like picturesque tree in
In
Derbyshire.
yeah, somewhere in
Beautiful
up north,
tree,
yeah.
famous tree, and they cut it down. The blokes are in court now.
Why did they cut it
Oh,
down?
did they catch them?
Yeah, obviously we don't know if they did it or not, but they've got like voice notes from the blokes the next day, being like, "Oh, look at all the press and stuff. It's not looking great. I'll be honest."
But why did they do it?
Just for lols.
Really?
Yeah, content. Everything's content in it.
Fucking bastards.
Yeah, I know it's a sick crime, but yeah. Other prank news. All right, Chris Eubank Jr. He won on the weekend. Did either of you watch it? Apparently,
I
it was a
did
bit of a
catch it.
thriller.
Yeah.
Was it a thriller?
It was very good, yeah.
I didn't
Good
catch
fight.
it.
They were both really going for it. So like sometimes you watch boxing matches quite like tactical, like they're trying to win on points, whereas both of them were properly
Swinging.
trying to knock each other out.
It was a bit of a family affair, really, wasn't it?
Well,
So
yeah.
maybe-
I mean, all eyes were on Chris Senior, and especially because in the build-up he'd said he wasn't going to be there. He said, "I'm not speaking to Chris Junior," and he called for his son's license to be revoked. He called him a disgrace. So I think there were basically two reasons why. One, there was quite controversial. Chris Junior had to drop a lot of weight for the fight, which is dangerous, and his dad was like upset about that. So I guess valid to be concerned about that, but apparently his main objection was the fact that Chris had smashed an egg on the face of Conor Benn in the build-up.
Oh, and he didn't like that.
He said it was a disgrace to boxing. It was sort of lowering the tone, turning it into a pantomime. But it turns out that all this "I'm not speaking to my son" stuff was just a big fugazi to build suspense for the main event, which was Chris turning up as a surprise. So basically, as Chris Jr. was arriving in the car park, Chris Senior emerged from a taxi in a fur-lined leather jacket. Here he is. We've got a clip. It's very WWE. Bit of an exaggeration, so it's the picture of the year so far.
I mean, it's just pure theatre, though, isn't
yeah,
it?
it's
I
proper
love it.
WWE.
I love it.
It's very like,
So
my God, that's Chris Eubank's music.
Yeah. So he didn't like the egg slap, but then
Yeah.
because that was turning boxing into a spectacle, and then turns up in this like ankle length fur.
Fur
Yeah,
jacket,
and then
yeah.
and to be honest, he kind of stole the show throughout. So like, his son came out to his music, Simply the Best, and then he was like, as his son was sort of in the ring preparing, Chris is there just like dancing.
He does do this sort
yeah,
of
he does
like-
this weird like swaying, and then afterwards, after his son won, he gave a typically eccentric interview.
As I said to Chris, we weren't sure if we would see you tonight.
I was always going to be here. That's right. Rastafari.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Rastafari.
Fantastic.
Dressed and ready to roll.
Look at him in the ring before the fight, just dancing.
Is that before?
Before the fight.
I think he's wishing he loved it. Just dancing in the ring.
Through those 12 rounds.
What does he say at the end?
I don't know.
rounds.
I'm honestly not sure.
He's
Yeah.
exactly what you don't want before the biggest fight of your life, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, can you fuck off, Dad?
Also, it's like the one moment his son can finally step out of his shadow.
Yeah, and he's like-
he's just in the background.
Just dancing. Everyone's milling around in the ring and he's just dancing. To be fair, the fight is kind of in his honour, isn't it?
Yeah.
'Cause it's the rematch with Ben's son.
Yeah.
But I didn't know Chris Eubank was a Rastafarian. I'm still not sure he is, to be
No, he
honest.
seems like the least Rastafarian
Yeah.
guy you
He
can
grew up
imagine.
in Jamaica, didn't he?
True.
Maybe that
You
was
just
it,
never
yeah.
know what is going to come out of that bloke's mouth.
No, he is
gonna-
golden though.
Yeah,
I think he's
national
brilliant.
treasure.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've just done a 2-parter on him on the pod, so a lot of people have been sending us Chris Eubank stuff, sightings. Probably the most common thing that people have sent us is the youth hosteling thing. So, you know, basically in Alan Partridge years ago, Alan Partridge is like spitballing for ideas for shows quite desperately, and one of them that he comes up with is youth hosteling with Chris Eubank. And then years later, Hostel World did an ad where they got Chris Eubank to like go to youth hostels.
Be Chris Eubank.
Yeah, it's kind of doing the rounds as a meme at the moment because he's I've got a clip of it here. They're all sitting in a circle singing Kumbaya, and Chris is doing some very weird dance moves.
I mean, if you're paying Chris Eubank,
Yeah, you want
Yeah.
also the meme is posted with the caption. It says, "When you're on a different wave to everyone else at the afters." It's like moonwalking side to side. And actually, George, who we work with, he's got a mate who worked on the ad. He's the one playing the guitar. And apparently, Hostel World were like, "Look, we can't use any copyrighted music, so let's just do Kumbaya." And everyone was like, yeah, fine. But apparently, Eubank just kept going up to the guitarist, being like, "Can you play a different song? Do you know Sandstorm by Darude?"
really hard to play on guitar. That.
Apparently, he just kept asking for it.
There's
He obviously had some moves planned.
a really good Chris Eubank and him and his son did Gogglebox together. You should watch it. It's incredible. Just some of the shit he comes out with. It's like, this is an exceptional confectionery.
A stupendous confession.
Confectionery.
Yeah, we did it on the pod.
Oh, did you?
Thanks for listening.
No worries. Get me on more.
Speaking of people you didn't know who were Jamaican, have you been following the Peter Andre stuff? Peter Andre's new movie is getting quite a lot of shit at the moment. It's called Jafakan. So the premise of the film is Peter Andre is a bloke posing as a Jamaican gangster in order to pay for his nan's care home. Here's the trailer.
You want to go to Jamaica, pose as this Jamaican gangster, steal all his dough, and then hope to live.
I mean, all I've got to do is learn the Jamaican accent.
An attitude.
Let them know, man, say that. Kill man, alright. Blah, blah.
The outfit is literally just like went to fancy dress shop, got a dreadlock wig,
Yeah.
and then start doing the accent.
I didn't think he was scraping the barrel this much, but that is like...
It's like because it's now sort of no longer acceptable to do like quite racist like stereotypes like that. So
Yeah.
now they're doing like a parody of somebody
Yeah.
doing that.
But I think they were going for so bad it's good kind
Yeah.
of thing, weren't they?
Yeah.
Like Human Centipede 4 sort of territory.
Yeah. I'm kind of engaged. I do.
Yeah,
wanna
I
watch
will
it.
watch
actually,
it.
does look quite
I
funny.
will watch it. Kind of think it's worked. He is getting a bit of blowback on it.
I
Apparently he's
bet.
deleted all his promo about it on
Really?
social media. I think you just got to own it.
Yeah.
Like, surely they had a conversation about how this would go down.
Yeah.
Surely.
Maybe he was inspired by Steve McLaren's stint as Jamaican manager or something like that.
Yeah.
Peter, to be fair, he's been around the block a few times. When you've been married to Katie Price and done all that tabloid stuff, you know, you can probably handle the inevitable blowback. I think we've talked about this on the Jamie Vardy episode, how back in Peter's absolute pomp, his mysterious girl era, mysterious gal, he had a fling with Rebecca Vardy, and before she was married to Jamie, and she then sold the story to the tabloids, and couldn't really have been less complimentary about Andre. She said, Peter was tiny, the smallest trouser equipment I've ever seen. It was like a miniature chipolata. And she also said he had absolutely no hairs on his body and he slavered over me like one of my boxer dogs when he kissed me.
I mean, the no hairs on the body thing, like, we know that.
Yeah, we've all seen
We've
people-
seen the abs.
Yeah. But yeah, the miniature chipolata. To be fair, he was quite a good sport about it. He then posted a photo of himself on social media holding a sausage and it said, "Now that's a banger."
Nice.
Mm.
That'll
But
get you, Rebecca.
Apparently, her lawyers then, in the Wagatha Christie court case, they then used it as evidence to prove that she'd had her life invaded by the press.
But she was the one who went in
She's
on
a bit rich. She sold the story.
Pot Kettle Black.
Yeah, and then he then it all came back in the news, and he was doing some West End show, and apparently at the premiere he had miniature sausages as the.
Oh yeah.
So he's a good sport
Yeah.
about it. So
Yeah, I reckon he can weather this one.
yeah,
Is the film going to be a hit? Surely that's a straight to DVD number.
straight to audio cassette. Yeah, I don't know. I'll be checking it out.
Maybe we should do a watch along.
Yeah, we'll go and.
Yeah, that or the Danny Dyer marching powder film. You know, about like a Gaki football fan. Have
Yeah.
you seen the?
No, I've not
trailer
seen
for
that yet. No.
Yeah, we were thinking maybe a watch along for that.
And My Summer with Des.
Oh yeah, that's what I
The
really
Des
want to
Lynam
do.
one. That should be. It's quite a good summer episode.
I think we should do that next year for the World Cup. It's an England thing. Yeah.
I put it on the back burner.
Do it on our next team outing.
Yeah, we're going to do a live pod from the park next time it's hot.
Yeah.
Gonna go crazy.
It's going to be wild.
Get some elderflower cordial.
Yeah, some iced matcha.
Yeah. Is it going to be beers at 10:30 in the morning in the park?
Maybe a Mr. Whippy.
Yeah.
You treat us good.
So it was the NFL draft over the weekend, which obviously is a huge deal in the US. And for the players, you know, they're waiting nervously by the phone, going to discover if they've been picked for the big time. So you can imagine that quarterback Shedeur Sanders was over the moon when his mobile rang and the caller introduced himself as Mickey Loomis, the New Orleans Saints general manager. And Mickey had good news because he wanted to pick Shedeur as the Saints' next pick. So, you know, that's an amazing moment for him. You know, all of his life dreams are coming true. He's picturing himself trotting out on the hallowed turf of the Caesars Superdome until he heard a few giggles in the background of the call and the line went dead. And it turned out there was actually a prank call from the son of the Atlanta Falcons defensive coach. So apparently he'd found Shedeur's number on his dad's iPad and lined up this prank. We've actually got a clip of the call.
Hey, is this Shedeur? Hey, this is Mickey Loomis here, the GM of the New Orleans Saints. How you doing? This is Mickey Loomis here, GM of the Saints.
How you doing?
Good, how are you, man?
Good, been waiting on you.
Yeah, we have. It's been a long wait, man. We're gonna take you with our next pick right here, man.
This ain't gonna be nothing to you.
Hey, but you're gonna have to wait a little bit longer, man. Sorry about that.
Really nasty American
That's
joke.
so cruel.
Yeah, it's so
It's like, hey, all your dreams are going to be made.
Yeah,
Not.
Yeah.
Is that funny from them?
It's very like, they look like real frat boys, don't they?
Yeah. I think for them, the excitement of it all is like, I can't believe we're actually talking to him and this is actually happening.
Yeah,
They haven't stopped to think, this is really cruel.
It's also especially cruel considering Shedeur's dad is a former NFL star, Atlanta Falcons legend, Deion Sanders.
Yeah.
And we've mentioned him before because he's the one who every year publicly ranks his 5 kids.
Can imagine Jack doing something like that.
Yeah. So not only is Shedeur dreaming of, you know, finally getting that Super Bowl ring, all of his sporting dreams are coming true, but he's also dreaming of finally dislodging his kiss-ass sister, Deondra, from the top of the rankings.
Finally getting some love from there.
So he was 4th in the last count in
really?
September last year. So he's got some work to do.
Do you think his dad's going to be like, well, on the one hand, you got drafted. I'm assuming he
did eventually get
thank
drafted.
God. One hand, you got drafted, but on the other hand, you fell for that prank and made yourself look a fool. So you're
down to
coming
5th you go.
I guess he's used to cruelty if his dad's doing public rankings.
I suppose so, yeah. Yeah.
And also his dad played in the World Series in baseball as well, didn't he? So it's like, I sort of think the undertone of the whole ranking thing is just like, you guys will never be as good as me.
He's very high performance podcast. This dad.
Do you think Jake Humphrey's ranking his children?
Yes, 100%.
I think
Kind of
I think
he's
Jake
too
Humphrey's
sweet.
got more of a shtick about how, you know, I love you, whoever you are.
Yeah,
whatever you do,
he's
but-
just saccharin for that.
Yeah.
I reckon he's got like XGs on his kids, like who's performing best. and-
Yeah, yeah. The high tech star chart.
Yeah.
So this guy obviously gets pranked, and then does he realise when he's not next pick?
Yeah, because they don't really let the call play out.
Guess
A lot,
so
do
no,
they?
I think they should have kept him on the line for longer, really,
Yeah.
to really extend the cruelty.
Yeah, because is that the idea that you normally get a heads up from the team, and
I
then
think
and then you'll
so.
see it on TV.
Yeah.
So he's probably
Yeah,
sat in front of the TV with his entire family,
Waiting.
dreaming.
Mm.
That's so
Bastards.
He eventually got picked 144 by the Cleveland Browns.
Oh, he got picked.
So he did make it. But
I think they're quite good, aren't they? Better than the Saints.
no idea.
Don't know.
Yeah.
What happened to the little fucking snot-nosed punk who pranked him?
He has put out an apology now. I guess he's got a massive bollocking.
Surely
from
his dad's in shit.
Yeah. It's like sort of data
breach,
right?
yeah. GDPR.
Love a GDPR story on this pod. The General Data Protection
So it's just
Regulation,
really sucked
2020.
the
Isn't
fun of that story.
GDPR only based on the UK market though? I wonder if they have it in America.
They
That's a
don't,
good
but
one. Shall we-
California, where does he live? Does
Mm.
California have their own provision for data protection?
Okay.
Okay.
But America, otherwise, Wild West out there, you can...
What are the differences between California and other states?
I think it's to do with informed consent of
Okay.
provision of data, yeah.
Deep dive later on the Patreon, yeah?
that's
Yeah,
Patreon
today's about data
special on
protection.
data.
And just EU law.
Yeah. It's actually not my favourite draft story though. So back in 2016, everyone, the whole American football world was expecting Laramie Tunsil to be one of the top picks, if not the very top pick of the NFL draft. But just as the draft kicked off on TV, a video was posted to his social media of him strapped into a gas mask bong. We've got a video there.
Oh, fucking
Was this on his Insta?
On his Insta, yeah.
So he's wearing a gas mask, but the nose has a bong attached at the
to it.
top. And he's lighting it
That
up
looks-
and he's ripping.
It looks absolutely lethal.
Fucking hell, that would fuck you up. He's lifted the mask.
Hey.
Is that him?
That's him. He's got a Confederate flag behind him, it looks
Yeah.
like, for some reason.
I'm not surprised you're fucking coughing, mate.
Yeah.
So I guess it's like the gas mask means that you're sort of hotboxing in
Yeah,
it.
you're
Yeah,
hotboxing
you're
your own
unable to
mask,
get any
yeah.
other clean
Yeah.
How do you get the
in.
air? You just got to lift the mask.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
mask looks like it's designed specifically for bongs.
Well, it's a gas mask.
Can you buy
It's
those though?
I think,
What-
I
how's
think
it
that's, I
screw
think
in
that's
so perfectly?
I think that's original from
Yeah,
World War
'cause
II.
maybe the
right.
bong
That's
just
what they-
fits in.
That's how they kept themselves entertained in the trenches.
Yeah, that and eating horses, beloved horses. We should that'd be quite a good studio prop, a gas mask
A
bong.
gas mask bong. Yeah, I'm sure you get them in Camden.
We could do it in the park on our park special. That's amazing.
But yeah, so teams are just like preparing their picks, and then suddenly this video pops up, and everyone started panicking. Like everyone was passing on him. He did eventually get picked 14th.
I like that idea. He's
Um,
still good enough to pick either way, just
Yeah,
not first.
yeah.
Was he going to be a first round pick?
He was. Everyone thought he'd be first.
But I
pick.
kind of think if you're going to pick him 14th, just get him anyway and deal with the bong thing
Yeah.
later.
Exactly.
Did
Yeah,
he
but
tweet it himself?
I don't know. Yeah.
Because that's quite Dennis Rodman levels of rock and roll. Just like, yeah, fuck you. You're going to draft me
Yeah.
first, are you?
Yeah.
Also, I suppose there's no way to prove that he was actually smoking weed. So you could just say he was like vaping
CBD.
or something. CBD.
Yeah, I mean, he
Supreme
did admit it later. He said his accounts had been hacked. But
He said that.
he said that.
Right.
You'd have to be
I
fucking
mean, you would
insane.
not post that yourself.
No,
Your
of course
entire
not.
career
On-
prospects are
on
resting on this
draft night.
moment, and you're
Yeah.
like, "I'll put the gas mask bong video."
It
up.
also cost him loads and lost salary.
Yeah, 'cause I
Apparently, 'cause you
suppose-
get if you're first pick, then
You're getting.
your salary reflects that.
But again, I rate that he cares about more than that stuff. He cares about just a slightly funny video.
Yeah,
It's rock and roll. Well, how's he doing these days?
He did.
High as a motherfucker.
Never really came back from
yeah,
that.
he's got a Homer Simpson bong now.
Yeah.
Has he?
Yeah.
Didn't is it Tom Brady got picked really low as well, didn't he? It was
Oh,
like
did
it was like 50
Really?
or 100th, and like
Mm.
look how well he did. So just keep going, mate.
Keep
all right?
ripping that fucking bong.
Yeah.
But is he now a star? Is
He did. He got traded to another team. I forget who it was. So he has had a good career. He's overcome the bong.
Good.
He's no longer high. Although I reckon, looking at that bong, I think he was high for,
Pretty high
he
for
was
quite
high
a while.
for a while. God, I think I would die if I did that.
We'll find out.
No chance.
we'll find out. Yeah,
find
on the
out on our
Patreon.
park trip.
Yeah. Actually, while we're talking about American sport, our condolences to the family of the New York Mets superfan, Mr. Seymour Wiener, who sadly passed away this week.
Oh, look at him. He couldn't look more like a New York Mets superfan called Seymour Wiener.
Seymour Wiener. Sounds like those prank calls that Bart Simpson would do to Mose.
I'm pretty sure there is a Seymour Butts, isn't there?
There's Seymour Butts, Mike Roch, huge ass. My favourite one was Maya Butt Reeks.
Classic. Why did the New York Mets do a big? Is that like a?
So they just posted on their Twitter and
minute
stuff
silence
about
before the game.
Of course, very American of them,
Seymour
isn't
Wiener.
it?
Yeah,
Love it.
Actually, staying with American sports again. Do you see Wrexham got promoted to the championship?
3 in a row,
Which is-
baby.
Yeah, 3 in a row. Which first time a team's ever been promoted 3 times in a row.
Three-peat. I'm sure they're calling it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which it is quite impressive, but to be fair, they were also the first National League side to be sponsored by TikTok.
And to outspend teams in League One when they're in the National League.
Yeah.
I don't buy the fairy tale thing.
Oh, I don't know. I just think the way that they're doing it is super impressive.
Ugh.
I know.
How? What's impressive?
They bought the club for $2.5 million and it's worth like $100 million now. They've like completely used their networks to build the club's presence, and it's like.
But mainly
it's
they
worked.
just spent loads of money to get promoted loads, right?
3 in a row is very hard to do. I think they're going to struggle in the championship,
Good.
but I still think it's like super impressive what they've done.
I mean they've played their game very well, and they've done like I'm sure most clubs at that level, National League level, would bite your arm off to
Yeah,
have
of
something
course.
like that.
And
but-
I don't begrudge it for the fans, but I just find also like the sort of like Hollywood schmaltz of it all really annoying.
yeah,
But they play on that Hollywood
I know, but
schmaltz.
it's so
and
they
it
also
goes-
used it to like sell a gin brand to Diageo. Like you're just I
yeah.
just
The
feel
whole
like everyone's
the whole
getting
thing
used
is,
a bit.
it is a big marketing thing
Yeah,
for everyone
and
involved.
it's
Really,
I actually
And-
object less to that side of it and more to the smiley Disney Ted Lasso fucking schmaltz.
yeah.
That's
But
what I really hate
they
about
also
it.
they just keep implanting all these quite annoying American sports traditions
Mm.
into a North Wales mining town.
Yeah, because they were
like-
wearing medals.
So
owners.
Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney
that's a bit shit.
were on the pitch with their medals. They poured a bucket of Gatorade on the CEO.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's it's a Super
tradition.
Bowl thing, I think, right?
That's bad.
I noticed
Why
that
have they got
they added Gatorade here, and it's almost
Oh, so
like
it's an
there's
ad.
clearly an ad, isn't it?
Yeah, got a clever one.
Oh God.
Hang on, so that's an ad because
well-
people giving Mo Salah shit because he was using his Samsung phone during the
Oh, really?
celebration.
Google
Which
Pixel.
he's
Oh,
sorry,
did-
Google.
Yeah.
whatever.
Did he
On the phone.
selfie with a Google Pixel?
Yeah, and then it turns out that's product placement. You know how tennis players go and put a Rolex on before they get given the cup,
I mean,
which I
that
always
is.
find.
I saw this and I was like, that's so nice. He's got a fan's phone and he's
Yeah.
taking
No,
a
it's
photo
his-
with it.
I mean, he probably does use
He's
one.
the one. He admitted it in an interview afterwards. Like they were asking, like, what happened? Like you took the fan's phone. He's like, yes. Well, we're sponsored by Google Pixel, so I thought.
Oh, so that was a Pixel.
Yeah,
Google
I mean-
he sort of
person.
gave it away. Yeah.
I mean, that's
I don't know if it was
so
Google
shit.
person,
For me,
but,
all these things are in the same category.
yeah.
It's just like
Um,
shit commercialization.
When
I
they
mean,
were about to go into automatic promotion, there was an advert of Ryan Reynolds and the other guy talking, and it was basically like, I don't know what airline to book because we don't know whether we're going to get the automatic promotion or not. And he's like, well, United do free cancellations, and it's like you've just got product placement on the
Yeah.
flights out there
so it's constant.
all the
So
time.
the club's an advert,
Yeah, and
the actors in it are the most cringe,
yeah.
in my opinion.
I mean, I'm not going to
Go on,
change
JP,
my.
say it.
I'm not
say
going to
it.
change. I don't.
You're a Wrexham fan. aren't you?
I'm not going to change my stance on it. Some of it is absolutely cringe, but you can't take it away from them. What they've done is super impressive.
Yeah, look, I just think if you're going to promote a brand, at least encourage people to go and die on a ship for their country, or to trim their pubes. Do you know what I mean? For like minimal sums of money, ideally.
And I'd like to put a wager on that Jamie Vardy will be playing for Wrexham next year.
Oh, that's actually a great.
Everyone's
shout.
saying it, aren't they? I think they're the bookies' favourites for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very Wrexham.
Yeah.
I would rather he went to Al Nassr, honestly.
I don't think he's.
At least
I
with the
think I
Saudi
don't know.
things, it's like-
I think I would warm to Wrexham if they got.
He's
going
gonna
to
get
be
it.
honest.
Well,
He's-
you are being used as well.
Yeah.
At least with the Saudi thing, it's like we know you're evil. We all agree you're evil.
Yeah.
It's, you know what I mean? It's the pretense that this is a fairy tale that I really
Yeah,
reject.
no, that is true. It's still a good achievement for the players.
There you go.
I suppose.
Yeah.
Well done.
I'm not
I'm
saying
sure their fans are going to be delighted when they find out about it in 2027. Speaking of fairy tales, we told you last week about Adam Eder, the Celtic striker who was throwing up in a taxi.
Oh, yeah.
Good lad.
After he had a big night out a few days before their cup semi-final against St Johnstone, and he was like throwing up everywhere. They won 5-0, so sort of got away with it. But in the aftermath of that story, we had a letter from Big Al, a reader, who said, "I've just read your latest email, including the story about Adam Eder's vomiting exploits. Should be pointed out that Eder was only following in the footsteps of Celtic legend Scott Brown. In March 2015, Brown spent an evening drinking heavily, then being denied entry to several strip clubs, before enjoying a deep-fried pizza slumped on the pavement a few days before Celtic played Dundee United in the Scottish League Cup final. Indeed, Brown went on to captain Celtic in the final that weekend."
We're looking at a picture.
We're looking at a picture of Scott Brown slumped on the floor of the street in Glasgow.
Has he got a tiny bit of kebab meat just holding on?
It's a deep fried pizza.
Deep fried pizza. Is that good? Have either of you
I've
ever
never
had
had
that?
one,
Never
no.
tried it.
I'll be honest, I can see how that would be good.
Yeah.
Definitely. Anything deep
tempura.
fried. You know about a deep fried
That was a joke.
a croquette?
Tempura, as I call it. Tempura pizza.
Have you never had a
Tempura
deep
pizzetta.
deep fried Mars bar?
I've never had it. I really want to try it.
Let's try it. I've heard it's good, actually.
They used to do them in my old chippy in Croydon, but it's also like a big thing in
Is it
Scotland,
nice?
isn't it? Yeah. It's kind of like a weird sort of savoury sweet.
Yeah.
There's a
Fatty as
chippy
fuck.
near my parents on the Isle of Wight called the Codfather, and it's
Sounds
their-
quaint.
Their thing is we'll batter anything, so it's got a picture of like gangster fish battering someone,
Nice.
but they will literally batter anything you bring in.
Nice.
So I'd quite like to take in some weird shit.
Well, if we do our summer
Do-
pod there, we could go
Yeah.
in and do
Oh, yeah. What should we bring?
in one thing to batter each.
Yeah.
You could make a nice ceviche, and then we can take that in. Can you tempura this?
I'll bring in that ref's shoe.
Shitty battered shoe.
You said anything.
And then you could do your tempura, your ceviche after that.
palate cleanser.
The same thing.
On Scott Brown, I like also that he was denied entry to several strip clubs and then
Yeah.
gave up.
I mean,
deep fried pizza
Looking
on his own.
at the picture of them, I can see why they denied him entry.
Yeah, fair enough.
Did they win?
They won 2-0.
A shock win for those
2-0 win.
plucky underdogs.
We need more footballers like this, guys. This is good.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Less
bit
fucking
of character.
less fucking Gatorade and Google Pixel ads.
Yeah,
Mm.
fucking right.
And more. That's why I salute the guy doing the bong in the draft. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's like people who put a moment of fun over their entire career prospects. We should
Yeah.
celebrate that.
Because when, sorry to go back to Salah, but when he did that, I was like, what a geezer. He's done that for someone's phone. Like, they're going to have that picture for the rest of their lives. But it was just fucking product placement. It's
Yeah, I
bullshit.
don't mind Salah like using that phone and shit, but to like, I don't know, that was too shoehorned in, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
Mm.
But yeah, that's
Bastards.
the way sports going, isn't it, guys? We're here to rescue you from it. One other thing I was going to mention, because obviously we talked about the Aaron Ramsey curse last week and how he offed the Pope by getting the Cardiff job. But on Patreon, Elliot Thompson on Patreon said, alongside the Ramsey killing the Pope, this is even weirder. The Popes always die just after Italian side US Avellino 1912 get promoted. It's happened to the last 4 Popes. And on the Saturday before this Pope died, they were mathematically promoted from Serie C. It's quite good.
That is a great stat.
Yeah. It's quite good. 4 popes. Does that include the one who stepped down?
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was also reading about the Pope who exploded. Do you know about this? One of the popes was, you know how they embalm them when they die? And obviously, like, to embalm people, you use all these chemicals that release gases. And so he was embalmed. I think he was being transported to, like, be shown in state. And he just,
Was he really farty before he
so it's
died?
basically his stomach fills up with these gases from the embalming and he just exploded.
Is it because like when they die, they put like a thing across their room so that nobody can enter? Do you just hear like a pop from behind the door and everyone's like,
I think it might be when he was being transported.
It's like, did you ever hear about that whale in Japan that got washed up in a beach dead? And when they eventually got rid of it, they were transporting it on a flatbed truck. And obviously it'd been dead for a while, so it started to swell. And as they were driving through this town, the whale exploded and just like splattered
shitty,
guts everywhere.
stinky whale
It's great.
meat.
There's actually great pictures of it.
Imagine getting that on you.
Yeah. I guess with the Pope, it's sort of, at least it's sort of holy.
Yeah, holy.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't mind
Got
it.
a bit of holy cheek on me.
Are you eating that?
I guess.
Blood body of
Sort of,
Christ.
yeah.
Got a holy earlobe.
Lovely. Keep it actually. That's sort of, like medieval churches
Yeah.
they claim to have like Jesus's toenail and stuff. It's sort of a relic. All right, I think that's all we've got time for. But we are now going into Tuchel's Dungeon, our Patreon, where we will do a rampaging tour of the most barbarous sports imaginable. So we're going to be looking at nonce hunting. We're going to be looking at.
Is that a sport?
Yeah, I think it is sort of a sport.
Sort of a modern.
Yeah, we'll be touching on it briefly in a
modern blood
fun
sport.
way, not in a sad way, and then we'll be looking at some of the most barbarous medieval sports.
Yeah. Some involving animals.
Yeah,
Largely involving animals.
Yeah.
Because they were sick and twisted.
yeah. It's going to be quite horrible histories, but if you want to hear about gorillas being mounted on horses and fighting dogs, you've come to the right place. So we're patreon.com/Upshot Towers. We'll see you on there. Otherwise, thanks a lot for listening. Thanks, JP.
Thank you, Jack.
And thanks, Zach.
Thanks, Jack.